We are going to have Nancy today with us. She's an inner beauty stylist, a certified holistic Pilates instructor, a Reiki practitioner, a cosmetologist, and a stylist. Wow, amazing. So many things you have, Nancy. And just a little bit what Nancy told about herself is she was a survivor of multiple traumas in her childhood, during her childhood. And in her 20s, Nancy learned to rebuild her self-esteem, love, and respect and image through all the therapies and self-help available. While completing her postgraduate studies at Duke University, she took up sociology, anthropology, and psychoanalysis. This and her extensive personal research led her to put together the fun program she calls Inner-Beauty Styling. So we are really happy to have you here, Nancy, and you can give your introduction if I missed something. So please go ahead and give your introduction.
No, that's very good. Thank you, Veena. So today the talk is about inner beauty skin. So that may be a bit surprising when you think inner beauty skin. How is that related? That's exactly what we're going to talk about, because what I do, so Veena explained very nicely all my qualifications, but with Was Stylist, I put together, Was Stylist, which is my company, I put together a program that I call Inner Beauty Styling. So today we're going to be talking about inner beauty styling in a way, because it's inner beauty skin. We'll talk about the different aspects of it. So let's start with what is inner beauty. Inner beauty is what I see in each and every one of you. Like all of you, I can see it inside. What is it? You can call it light, spark, essence, power, potential. So basically, inner beauty is all those things. This help you bring out when we do inner beauty styling. And inner beauty, why do I call it beauty? It's because for me, this inner potential that you all have is such a beautiful thing, because it comes from the energy of love, basically. Because energy, the source, it all comes from one thing. And when you nourish and you nurture this inner beauty, then everything flows in everything you do. So that's why I call it inner beauty. Now, why did I say inner beauty skin for this talk? That's because skin, now let's see how skin functions. Because before I explain the relationship between the two, let's see how skin functions. Skin is, for one thing, the largest organ. I don't know if you knew that, but skin, if you spread it out on the ground, it would take up 20 square feet. Like if you really spread it out, it's kind of weird if you think about it, like if you cut yourself open and you opened it, but really that's how it is. So it's an average, of course, like if you have different body shapes, it's going to be a different surface, but it's an average of 20 square feet. That's pretty wide. And it has a lot of functions. The main one would be protection, because this skin protects you from all your organs to start with, your bones, your organs, your muscles, all that. Because if you think about it, if you think of skin alone, we don't think about it, because when we cut ourselves, it's when we actually think about it. Because when you cut and when you don't have skin, when it's missing, you pulled it, you did whatever, that's when it hurts if you touch directly. So it really protects you from bruises, bumps, and all that. Also, it's here as a thermal regulator. That's how you can adjust your body temperature. To be able to touch something cold or hot, it regulates. Also, which kind of goes with it, is it breathes. Your skin breathes. It needs to breathe in and out, to have oxygen and nutrients to be worked on, basically. But breathing, that's one of the things that we don't really like about it, is it's perspiration. So perspiration is really here as one of the functions to help your skin breathe. So for perspiration, for deodorants and all that, it's kind of annoying because, you know, you release some water to try to cool yourself down. That's actually one of the reasons why in Eastern countries and in the Sahara, you know, the big desert, that's where they actually drink hot water in the desert. When in the States, everyone drinks ice water, in very warm countries, they actually drink warm, because if you drink warm, then your body temperature suddenly feels cooler. So it's actually better for you. Then it's also the largest storeroom in your body, because really your skin is where it stores water. Yes, that's why we say water retention and all that, but water in a good way. So water, fat, and metabolic products and hormones. Let's talk about what different layers there are, because in skin, we talk about skin, it's not very thick, right? But there are several layers. So if you had a cut and you look at it, I don't know if you see it properly because I don't see myself, but you have 3 layers. So the uppermost layer is basically the waterproof barrier, and it's called the epidermis, okay? And basically that's really the thickest part. And then you have the dermis, that's mostly made of, and of course it's mostly the collagen structures, which are stretchy and elastic. And then you have the hypodermis, which is probably the thickest, and that's where you have fat and you have blood vessels and nerves, all that. And also the hair follicles, they can go, sorry, this one is showing, it goes all the way here. So when you think about that, skin, hair follicles, all that. So it means that in your skin, through your skin, you can access the blood vessels. Aha, so now you're starting to see where I'm going with this. With those layers, what do we do? There is an emotional language. The body, and that's why I also call it inner beauty, the body doesn't have a language, right? It doesn't speak, but it has its own language, and it uses the body. And skin is one of the ways. Skin has, it's like we said, it was a protection, but it functions in many ways. It's also a silent witness. It expresses how you're feeling, your moods, your lifestyle. So if you're aging or if your health is not too good, it's gonna show. Your skin color. For example, if you talk about the number of blood vessels, if you're lacking a little bit of it, that's why your skin will be a bit white in appearance, because it's missing some. And if you have another problem in your liver, for instance, and it's called a hepatitis, then your skin may become a little bit yellow. So all these can really impact from inner, outer. And so the barrier of this skin we're talking about is also from the outside world, and a barometer of how you are feeling your inner general well-being. So these two really communicate. They communicate, but sometimes they can be also betraying you. Because for instance, and I know I'm very good at this, is when my energy is lifting and I have my fire up, my skin becomes very red. And I'm sure that by saying that, it's actually showing. But it doesn't matter. What you need to know, because this will cool down in a second, what is important is in the long term. Because if your body is not being listened to, then it's going to start showing out. And that's how you can have breakouts. And we talked about fat before. Well, cellulite can be showing as a means of protection and to cover up, really to protect from the outer world. If you have greasy skin, maybe you want some things that come to you to slide off you, you know? So that's your body trying to talk to you. But here, we talked about the different layers of skin. One other thing that we didn't mention is the fact that skin renews itself in about 4 weeks. And what happens is that the cells go from the bottom up, they push up to the surface, and when they're at the surface, they harden, creating that barrier we talked about, and then they fall off, and that's how you have dead skin. And that's going to be something important when I explain my morning routine at the end with the beauty tips. What's really important is to, if you impact, like for example, if you rub your skin, massage, or if you just rub it, but like it hurts, it's going to become thicker. And that's how, for example, in your elbows, your skin may be a little bit thicker. That's because you're probably leaning on your elbows longer, so that it needs to protect. So here is what we talked about with the emotional language. We said that skin was relating how you're feeling inside, outside. Also in the sense that it's also corresponding to the sense of touch. And so if you do not want touch or contact from the outer world, that's how you can show these. I talked about greasy skin. There are zits. It can be skin eruptions, like when you have psoriasis, can be something related to the state of being, the nervous condition. Many things are related that way. But here, we're not going to be talking about this, because today we're not talking too much about how your body speaks, but we're talking about inner beauty skin. So just skin. And here, why is it important to care about what we nourish it with? Because like I said right before, is your skin is also, it's the barrier, but it's also where everything goes in. So whatever you put on your skin will go in a little bit. And so you don't want to add chemicals or harsh, or the environment, any kind of pollutants that are bad for you. And I'm going to give you a few examples of things that can be really bad. And that's why it's important, and things are changing in the world, and I'm very grateful for that. So as we breathe, what we eat, and many of you already know, because I've seen a lot of you eat, and I know you're careful in the way you eat. So you know that what you ingest is going to make you, is going to make up how your health is doing, right? So you need to know what you're putting on your skin as well to feed it. Skin, but hair as well, because you saw the hair follicles go deep, even slightly deeper than your hair. And by the way, those blackheads that you may not like on your face or sometimes in your body, why do they come? Because they wrap themselves around the hair follicles. They go around, it's like a little well, they fall in there. It's usually a little bit of pollution, some soap, and different things like that just go in. And they make the skin suffocate, and very often zits come out because of blackheads. So really, what you feed your skin with is going to make the difference. So let's see. For example, did you know what Botox is? Botox is really the short word for a toxin called botulinum toxin. I said toxin. Yes, it is, because guess what? It's a poison. Botox is really a very powerful poison that blocks transmission of nervous stimulus to muscle. So basically what it does is it really stops your muscle from moving. It's like it stops the nervous interaction between your muscle and your brain. So if it doesn't work, then it doesn't contract. And in nature, you do have that, because in my creams, for example, my anti-aging cream, you have it a lot. I don't actually wear it personally, because it's really for mature skin. Or if you wear it from 38, I would say, and until 55, I would say, you would need to wear it only at night as a night cream. Because really, the first time I wore it, it made my skin feel like this. It was very funny. So the other one is triclosans. I don't know if you heard of this, but it's an antibacterial that you can find in many soaps, in toothpastes. Unfortunately, toothpaste, you think about it, it's in your mouth. That's something you can actually, part of it, because I don't know about you, but sometimes I do swallow some of the toothpaste, even though I try to rinse as much as I can. I do. So that's kind of scary. And deodorants, many deodorants, when they're not natural, of course. So really, the risk, just to give you a couple: genetic modification, attack the natural skin flora, and it's against good liver function. Yeah, imagine it goes inside and it's against your liver. And of course, it can cause acne of chlorine. I don't know how you pronounce this. Then you have paraffinum liquidum, which is basically glycerin, but that's not natural, but from petroleum base, meaning from oil, from what you put in your car. Excited about this now? So petrochemical mineral oil, that's really like the scientific name, is a great emulsifier. Of course, it's super oily and it's super soft. And the great advantage, and that's why it lasted for a long time and it actually doesn't die because it's not organic, it doesn't die. So when you use it in creams, yeah, wonderful. They don't go bad. They tell you that they're going to be dead and like you need to change your creams in about 1 or 2 years, but really, you don't need to, because when they're not natural, unfortunately, well, fortunately for them, they don't go bad. But the problem is you do, because it is suffocating your skin. And that's why those hand creams that are made with paraffinum, really, they make your skin even more thirsty. And they want you to put more, so you put more, and then it gets even thirstier. So it really doesn't breathe, and it doesn't really nourish it either, because it goes on top. But the problem is sometimes some of it go inside. That's the problem for deodorants, for example, when you have aluminum, it goes inside the follicles. And then fluoride, which is only for toothpaste, but still, why do we use it? Because it's a great bactericide and a disinfectant. And also, it has the capacity to reinforce the dental enamel. So it's great in a way, but at what cost? Also, we don't need it in a very large quantity. And the problem is, in the States, they put fluoride in water. So that's why I have a fountain to filter water. So basically, we need to be careful for what we ingest. And so what we put on skin as well. And now, what do I do about this? That's where my natural skin line comes in. It started in 2015 because I had this natural ability of proportions, and maybe you saw my video about plucking. And really, if you want to know the side story, it's because of confinement. I think I went through the stages of grief, and one of them was denial, but that was also depression, because for a week I did not wash my hair, and I didn't pluck my eyebrows, because I really do like a little bit every day. But for that week, I didn't do any. And so I had caterpillars growing on my on my eyebrows. And so I made a quick video to show how I do, because people ask me all the time, like, how do you actually pluck your eyebrows? And so I did it. But really, sorry, it was a sideline. But proportions is what I have instinctively and naturally. But what I wanted was to have the science behind my natural abilities. Because for the makeovers, I help you find what colors match you, what shapes will make you look the best. So all that, I needed to know what's the science behind this. And that's how I took training in 2015 to know what's behind it and to have the knowledge. And so I took training with the program at the International Success Institute in Paris. And in the cosmetology class, I discovered what was behind each of our products that we have in the bathroom, or mostly in the bathroom. And those little lines and everything that was in Latin and those numbers and weird words, that's when I discovered many of these toxins that I described right before. And once you know, you can't unknow. And that's why I started training about that. I started reading and to know what they actually meant. And then from there, I was like, but what am I going to do? Because I thought very proudly, well, I should be fine, because you know what? I'm buying very expensive creams, and I even go in the pharmacy, because in France, in the pharmacy, that's, you think, at least here, I don't really know how it is because I don't really go to the pharmacy very often, but in the pharmacy you have a section where you can even buy some creams. And one of the French famous creams brand is a brand that is based on mineral water. So it's from a natural source, so it's really good if you think about it. And the only thing in those creams that was actually good was the water. The rest was everything else that I told you. Well, not all these, but like all toxins and chemicals and really bad things. And so once I saw this, I was really in despair, and I thought, is there any way I can counter this? Is there a way I could figure out how to make something natural? And that's when I took some training with a chemist in Paris to know how to make creams. And even during the training, I started adapting all the recipes, and because I took a makeup class as well. And I adapted the recipes to adapt to my skin tone, because what they were offering was like too peachy color or too pink, and I'm neither Irish nor olive skin, so I needed something in between. And I did. And so after that, I started making my own recipes. And I say recipe, and that's funny because it's like food, but yes, everything is actually something you could eat. So it's really funny, and it smells beautiful. And from there, I started making for myself. My family started asking, my friends, and then friends of friends, and friends of friends of friends, and then my circle widened. But these things, I wanted them to work all in one, because I'm kind of like, I want things to work for me. Like, I don't have time. I don't know about you, but beauty, I don't really have time to do so much. I love playing with colors. Like today I did makeup, but I do not like to waste time. So when I started making my own products, I wanted them, and especially with natural ingredients, what's beautiful about them is that you want an ingredient for something in particular. Let's say avocado oil. Oh, I want it because, you know, it's very thick and very nourishing. Okay, does it do only that? No, probably 20 different effects that it does in addition to that. So it's just so wonderful. So for example, the deodorant that I put together, I made it so, well, if it's in my armpits, I want it to be antiperspirant. You can't really do that, but you can make it so it absorbs to make it a dry touch. So if you are sweating because you're running, then once you cool down, it's gonna reabsorb and kill the bacteria that causes the bad smells. But I thought, if it's under your armpits, whether you shave or you wax, you don't want your hair to grow too fast. So you know what? I found an oil that slows down the hair growth. So the deodorant is also anti-hair growth. One of my clients said that it slowed it so up to 3 weeks slower. So that's pretty good. And I'm not going to review everything, but I'm going to go to the next point, which is my little beauty tips. What do I like to do every day in the morning? That's something you can do for making you, and especially right now during the stay-at-home time, it's important to have some structure, something to lift up your spirit. And whether you want to wear makeup or you don't, or even if you don't go out, even though it's better if you can at least go out, even half an hour of walk every day is really important, as long as you're far away from everyone else right now, because, you know, social distance and COVID. But what you need to do is really have this 5-minute time in the morning where you freshen up. So here's how I do it. In the morning, first thing that I do, I love to splash my face with cold water, like as cold as possible. Really, you splash your face, then you wipe dry your face, and it's still a little bit moist. It is perfect. That's when you can start applying your serums. So what I do is I use my lip serum, and that's the one that has some kind of Botox-like effect. It's a root from a French island, and you'll have the details on the website. But it's a French island root from a plant. It's pretty cute, actually. The plant is like yellowish, but it's a very long stem. Anyway, that has an effect, of course, not like Botox for 6 months, but it's every day, and it makes your lips plumper and defines those fine lines that you can have because you're drinking at the straw, you know, you have those little lines, or if you're a smoker, that's going to help those to clear. And so you have a good line. And also because when you go in the sunlight, you may have like dark patches. The cucumber in there can whiten, so it deactivates. I'm not supposed to say that on the website, so I can't say it anymore because it would be considered a drug, but really that's what nature does. It deactivates melanin production, so you don't have the dark spots anymore. So I roll the marble. So this little marble, you shake with the cap on, you shake, you rub it on the outside, and then maybe a little bit on the lips directly. And then you do the same with the eye serum. And by the way, the eye serum is also for men. My customers are both men and women for this one. Not so much for the lips, because men don't necessarily want to have plump lips. But same, you shake head down, but with the cap on because the marble could fall. And then it's fresh, it's very nice. You rub it on your eye, on the lower lid. And then once you have enough, you can go a little bit around, and then that's where comes the trick. And if your skin is super dry, you would use also the face serum, but that's what I use every day. So what you do, once you still have the product, you would use your ring finger in the center, and then you press, and then you relax. Then you go around. You can dab or rub, but very gently, not very strong. Up on the other side, then same, you apply a little pressure, and you renew this like a few times. And then I go around my eyes, and then the other side, and voila. And then face cream. So either if you have a sensitive skin, this one is the one that men love as well because it doesn't have a very strong scent. It's the one that I made for people who can't stand anything on their skin. It's really great, and it really helps if you have little cuts or anything. So it's really great for any type of skin. But if you do, everything is like for sensitive skin, but some of them are like more sensitive than others. So for very sensitive, it's that one. Mature skin is this one that I showed earlier, and the one for I would say 25 and up, it's the one that I call my precious, and it's green, as you can see, because it counters the redness. And for me, since you see I'm always red, it's better. But it smells beautiful. It's got rose essential oil and jasmine. Love it. And it also works it's got sulfur and zinc and different things to help your skin stay pure. And because remember what I said about skin, it penetrates. When you wear something that's natural, it actually works with your skin. Because what happened with paraffinum that I described before is that it suffocates and your skin becomes passive. But when you use something natural, your skin starts activating its own natural functions. And that's how your skin looks so beautiful. And I don't mean to brag, but I'm so proud of my skin. Like right now, I do have like a tiny zit, but if you look at my skin, my pores are really small. And I'm not wearing any foundation right now. I'm just wearing a bit of blush on the sides that I made as well. Blush and on my eyes. But really, I'm not wearing any foundation. And that is because my skin is breathing and working. I'm putting my skin to work. So basically, that's what I'm doing. What I do. I'm open to any questions now. Are you still here? Oh.
Yes. So anyone has any question, or if you want to raise hands and ask anything to Nancy? Yes, Rashmi?
So what about coconut oil? Coconut oil is very natural, and like if we use coconut oil as a moisturizer and just don't use anything else, so is it going to harm your skin, or what does it do?
Very good question. Thank you, Rashmi. Well, coconut oil, like you said, is an oil, right? Well, in skin, in moisturizers, you have oil, but you also have something that is made of water. So me, I use a lot of aloe vera that I consider like water, but also with flower waters. And what's really important is to have both, because your skin, like I said before, it has fat and water. So if you only add something that's greasy, it's gonna feel good for a short while. But in the long run, it's gonna become thirsty. So then it's gonna be dehydrated. So you don't want to wear only coconut oil. Same for the hair. Like my hair conditioner smells like caramel, as you can see here, maybe. It smells beautiful. It has coconut oil, and it's great. It drinks in your hair. You don't even need, and I shouldn't say that because you won't buy it as much, but when you have it on your hair, it drinks it so much that you don't necessarily need to use it every time that you wash your hair, because it really stays there. Contrary to paraffinum, that would just be on your hair, make it heavy, greasy much faster, and then washes off and dries up your ends. So I don't know. Did I answer your question, Rashmi?
Yes, you did.
Isis?
I apologize. I'm going to have to leave out the meeting, but I will get in contact with you, and I do want to get your products.
Just so you know, I have now an online store. I actually, thanks to the COVID, in a way, I had to finally open my online store. So I'm on Etsy. You type "What Stylist" and you'll find me.
Okay. Well, thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Isis.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you for joining. Yeah.
Is there any more question?
Anyone? Wow. We have to make best use of Nancy's, all the knowledge she has. So please don't hesitate to ask any question.
Yeah, anything. Like if you want to know anything.
So while everyone is thinking, Nancy, I am noticing that I'm not sleeping that well. I mean, I sleep late. I sleep very good, but because of that, I feel I'm noticing I'm developing some dark circles. So like the serum you showed, does it help in dark circles too, or is just for the moisturizing part?
Okay, so you will see written on it, it's dark circles, anti-puffiness, but also crow feet. Because that thing that helps your muscles from to stop contracting, it is present in there. And I made it so you can actually have it in your eye. Like if it goes into your eye, it won't burn. It won't irritate, because I don't know about you, but for me, it's a bit strange when you have an eye serum that tells you, do not have it in your eyes. I mean, come on, how am I gonna do it? So no, it will work. And those expression lines that you have on the sides that we call crow feet, it will help them stretch out, because it will have a bit of the effect that I described about Botox. It will really like help your muscles relax. So it does work on fine lines, on dark circles, and also I made it green, so it does work also like to add a little bit. It's not like makeup, it's very light, but it adds a little bit, because the green with the purple kind of counter effects with the light. So it's like an effect, a visual effect, but it's like to trick your eye when you see it. So yeah, it does work against dark circles. And you know, something else that I do in my routines is couple times a year, what I do is I do a facial, a full facial. And full facial, it means steam with some essential oils, then I do some extractions, and then I use the scrub, the facial scrub. And this one is Ayurvedic. And since it comes from India, the Ayurveda, the science of life, you may have known of it. And I made it so it works also while you do it. It also helps calm the mind and balance your doshas, you know, your energy system, basically. And it nourishes and hydrates at the same time as it scrubs your face. So that's something else you can do as well. And what I do when I do it a couple times a year is I do 3 facials with 3 weeks of separation, because you heard what I said about skin renewal. It takes about 4 weeks to be entirely renewed. But if you do a facial 3 weeks in a row, like 3 facials 3 weeks in a row, the first 2 weeks is when your skin regenerates. And then the 3rd week, I leave it 1 more week so that your skin starts having a new skin. And so before you start extracting again, because what I do, and I just did the 3rd one, is that really it extracts all the little, because the blackheads, it's really like when it's too much around your hair follicles, because we have some everywhere on the body. Even though some places you don't have hairs, you may have like tiny very blonde hairs that will show, and that's where you have all those sebum that can stay in there, soap and anything else.
Thank you.
So Nancy, does it help in melasma too?
I'm sorry, who is speaking?
Nina.
Nina?
Yeah.
Okay, hi Nina.
Hi, does it help, the creams help for melasma, people who have pigmentation problem?
You mean like discoloration?
Some discoloration, melasma.
So it can help a little bit. I don't have it here, but my face cleanser that I use every day to clean my face, it's red. I should have, if you want, I can go get it. But the cleanser, it's a red color, reddish, like orangey. It's a plant from India. And it does help with coloration as well. So in the long term, it will help. And if need be, I can make a cream for you, because I had sometimes, so I don't like make it in large quantities, or at least yet, but I can make it so it helps your discoloration. Because I had some clients from Syria and Saudi Arabia who wanted that. So it's possible with nature to have a whitening effect, but that's not like bleaching, like some of the creams that can be really bad for your skin and really hurt.
So how much do your products cost?
It depends. Like, it goes between 20 and 35.
And how long do they last for?
They last pretty long for natural products. Normally, like you would say 3 months for the shelf life. But since I make them in such a very careful environment that's really clean, everything is like how do we say? I sanitize everything. It lasts up to a year, so it's not bad.
No. I mean to say, when you use a product, how long it takes to the bottle to be empty?
Okay. This depends on how much you will use, but like a cream, basically it lasts about 3-4 months, sometimes longer, depending on how long how much you're putting every time. But really, it's not that much because it spreads very nicely on your face, and it's not sticky, and it really penetrates nicely. By the way, the SOS cream that it's the healing cream here. It has essential oils, and it smells beautiful. And this is what I use for everything when you hurt yourself. And it's also what I use as hand cream because it penetrates very nicely and it doesn't stick. My husband is the reason why I created it. He has the driest skin in the winter, and yet, like, it cracks. It's like the Grand Canyon is his skin. Like, basically it cracks, it bleeds. It's really bad. But the trick is he doesn't stand the touch of oil or cream. So I was like, how am I gonna do that? And I said, okay, challenge accepted. I looked into it, and guess what? I did. So this cream actually penetrates very quickly, like about 1 minute, give it 1 minute, and then you don't feel it anymore. And it lasts long. You don't have to use it every time you wash your hands. So right now we wash our hands much more because of the virus. It's actually something that's selling pretty well. So yeah. And I have several sizes. This one seems super small. It's great for the handbag, but it's not. It's a compact version, but it's really as much as this one. So it doesn't seem much, but this one lasts me like 6 months because you don't wear it all the time. So it's really convenient.
Yeah. So keeping our time into consideration, we'll take one more question if anyone has. Otherwise,
I have just one, just small.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything for age spots? Like, will that eye cream or moisturizer will help with the age spots? Like, I have a little bit here.
Freckles. That's freckles, yeah?
No, age spots are different. Age spots, it usually come around like menopausal age. You know, you have like brown spots, it starts coming. So will that moisturizer, if I buy a moisturizer or buy under eye cream, do you think it's going to work?
So for age spots, it would work with the face cleanser. And like I said to, I think it was Nina, it's the same. I can make it also a cream that would be specific for this.
Okay.
So I can do that too.
Okay.
And when I have an order from something that I haven't made before, it takes me 3 weeks and it's done. Because I also order my ingredients from France. And everything is, if it's not organic, it's because it's natural. Like, for example, in a seaweed, it cannot be organic. Why? Because it comes from the ocean or a water that's, how do you call a water without salt? Sea, maybe, I don't know, but like a type of water where you don't actually farm those ingredients, so they are not organic, but they're still very natural, and they're fair trade, most of them. So it's very respectful. For example, when I dye my hair, I use different plants from most of them actually come from India, and there was one that I couldn't get because it was coming from a country that was at war at that moment. It was Yemen. So that's how you can know when things, like how the world situation is. It's because the ingredients sometimes, you know, you can't get them. So It's interesting.
So that's very nice that you're making all the customized products. So like if we have any special issues with our skin, we can contact you.
Oh yeah. Just contact me and we can work something out together. It's really possible.
You asked about the eye serum and the dark spots, the dark under eye. I only used it the first night. I noticed immediately that the dark under eye spots were gone. I have had insomnia the last few weeks, and so I thought, oh, I'd try it. It's just they're getting puffy and dark. So I was very pleased with that product just in the one application. So I'm sure that will only get better.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah, Cheryl just ordered some products and she received them, was it 2 nights ago?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, wonderful. If you can leave a comment on my store, it would be great.
I will do that. Yes, and I'm coming back for the hand cream. Mine are like your husband's, where the knuckles get dry and cracked. So I will do that.
And if you and you can use it, the SOS cream, you can use it for chapped lips, for if you bump yourself, it really helps anything. Like I'm using it for everything where I need, and soothing for the mind, because the essential oils that I used, they're really soothing and calming, because I wanted them to remind me of childhood, so they're really comforting.
Yeah, everything smells good. Thank you.
Nancy, can you leave your link over there so we can see the products you sell and we can buy them?
I will write in the chat for everyone.
And then we can also share through email. We'll share through our members.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Yeah, we'll do that.
So
thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome. I don't know who just spoke, but so this is my email, and you can find me on Etsy, shop Wa Stylist. And Wa Stylist, it's funny because this is the Wa group, and my company, it's Wa Stylist because it's O-U-A, and in French, the O-U is pronounced OU, so you have Wa, and it sounds like wow, and it means once upon a stylist. That's what it means. So once you start working with me, you access your dreams.
And Nancy, can you share your website as well?
Sure. It's actually wastylist.com.
Yeah, just so we don't forget.
Yeah. So what we'll do, Divya, we'll share all the information.
Sure.
And that way, you will have
you
it.
can share on Wowgram and Wow member group both. So.
Yeah, we'll share all the information. Very nice. I think we are on time. If anyone has any more question, we can take. But otherwise, you can contact Nancy directly.
One more thing, Nancy is also on our Wow WhatsApp group. Suppose it's like you want to just have a chat, you can just talk to her like privately or on a group chat. And she's also on Wowgram. So in case if you want to like contact her. Yeah.
And I have also a Facebook page called Wa Stylist. So basically, if you type Wa Stylist or even on Instagram or Nancy Renaud, I'm on LinkedIn. You can find me, and also on Facebook as a personal account. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing your experience and products with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Oh, and thank you, Anjali, for your comment. Thank you.